Mm.
And that, what we mean by that, what we're thinking about, why you need to think about that, is digital has really changed what people expect when we communicate with them. And customer experience really is becoming the differentiator for a business. It's more important than the product itself. Customer demands are running rapid. You know, the lines between physical, geographic, personal, and time are really creating high customer expectations. The customer demands are getting higher all the time, and customer anticipation of how a brand will interact with them continues to increase. And it's not that easy to be able to deliver a seamless customer experience across all these different channels and across all these ways that customers can interact with you as a business. So really thinking about who is my customer, what are the touch points with my customer, and how do I make sure that my service agents, my marketing team, everyone has a similar content and similar message to interact with the customer is really something that organizations are struggling with. And we see in India, you know, when we think about the impacts of digitalization, organizations then are really thinking differently about how they do business in terms of business model, corporate culture, how fast they need to be agile and innovate, different types of industries, different types of transformation across business models. And the 7 summits of business transformation then look something like this, where companies become data-driven, they become more customer-centric because, and this is being forced by the customer, it's outside in, as opposed to the previous experience of companies where it was very much selling products, broadcasting to customers. Now we know 70 to 80%, whether it's B2B or B2C, of customer product decision making or brand decision making is made before a customer even touches a brand. So, and that's through online research, through word of mouth, through social channels, etc. So being able to be there in the moment and be alongside the customer as they're thinking about those decisions and researching those product decisions is really paramount to being able then to deliver the right customer experience as when that customer touches your brand. So really, what is customer experience? We talk a lot about CX and there's this evolution of different organizational structures around CX. So we used to have user experience in a digital world, which was really about the website design. And now we have this end-to-end physical customer experience organization in companies. And it either comes out of customer service and the call center teams, and that they are now becoming customer experience officers. And in some companies, we're seeing the CMO take control because they're the traditional frontline to a company's customers. And in some companies also, we're seeing chief customer officers that really have sales, service, and marketing all reporting into them as one central point of view over the entire company touch points with the customer. And I think traditionally customer service answers the question, what is my business doing to help the customer? Whereas customer experience answers the question, how is my customer thinking or feeling? And it really now stands for customer expectations as much as it does about customer experience. And customers really are expecting that seamless, personalized, and immediate interaction with brands. And a lot of what we believe is you can gain market share by delivering exceptional customer service and delivering a seamless customer experience, which is evidenced here, where you can see some of these quotes around what matters to customers in terms of a customer experience and how you can generate real business outcomes by focusing on delivering more end-to-end customer experience for your customer. It drives loyalty. It means that you have to invest less in acquisition because you can drive upselling and cross-selling in the business, and it means that you are more likely to retain your customer. 80% of your future revenue will come from 20% of your current customers. So getting customer experience right is crucial to the success of your business. So what do we mean by this? I think we see, you may have seen this before, the customer journey has changed. The linear funnel that we all used to look at is no more. And when organizations do connect the customer experience across both marketing and service and train agents to be able to sell to their customers, to upsell and cross-sell and hopefully turn their customers into advocates, that's where we see true data-driven organizations building a much more engaged customer base. And so really thinking across an organization how you interact all the way through the customer life cycle and thinking about lifetime value of a customer as opposed to that campaign-driven immediate KPI metric is really what smarter companies, how they're really approaching smarter CX. And that looks something like being able to build out from segmented views of customers where you have traditional demographic segments to individualization strategies where you're really focused on personalized individuals, communications, content, engagement with a customer based on their relationship with your brand. It's moving from multi-channel, you know, this experience on the phone, this experience in store, this experience on the website, this experience in your social media channels to conversations across any channel. And it's also moving from transactional to adaptive. It's really anticipating what a customer is looking for and being able to deliver offers to them based on their experience with your brand as opposed to reactive experience based on the customer inbound to you. And we know that at the moment artificial intelligence is getting a lot of attention in this space, but it's just one of the strategies companies are using to meet the demands of consumers to deliver a seamless experience. So what are the fundamentals of a smarter CX strategy? The 5 fundamentals that we look at really are around listening and responding to customer needs, bringing together data sources and using advanced knowledge, understanding the tools through through the customer through tools like journey mapping, having connected conversations, and the ultimate thing is finding the right talent, having that unicorn skill set within your organization to be able to keep up with the rapid pace of change. So talking through these in more detail, a lot of customer feedback and measurement and listening to the customer relies on traditional metrics such as net promoter scores, customer satisfaction. You can be listening to customer sentiment through social listening, social messaging, and obviously customer complaints. Another thing I think to really be aware of and cognizant of in responding to customer needs is thinking about the transition to what we call the visual web. And I think this is particularly prevalent in India where you have 12 different languages, you have low levels of literacy, and you have different regions that have different capabilities and access to your brand's core products. And so when you think about the visual web, the human brain can process images 60,000 times faster than words. 1 minute of video is worth 1.8 million words, and the average human attention span now is less than 8 seconds. You think about your own personal experience when you're in a chat or messaging environment, it's very common now to share short video or emojis or actually to film experiences. And you think about the United Airlines experience last week where people, you know, the fact that that experience was filmed amplified what happened, you know, thousands of %. So being aware of your customers' changing habits in terms of visual communication and responding in kind to that is something that everyone should be more aware of as they build their customer experience strategies. You also need to connect your data sets to know your customer. And I think in the marketing world, we talk a lot about digital body language and really reading the signals of our customer and how customers and potential customers are interacting with our brand and digital environments, we need to take that information and make sure it's fed into customer service and then utilize that information for interactions to have this seamless customer experience. So really having a one-to-one relationship with the customer means understanding the customer more directly and not relying on third-party relationships, distributor relationships, and agency relationships in order to achieve that. And that will then enable you as a company to become data-driven. We've all heard of the companies, and digitally native companies are very much data-driven in their approach to customer experience. They use data to build their products, they use data to deliver their services, and they use data to build better relationships with their customers. And that's where legacy businesses are really struggling to bring those data sets together from across the organization and also be able to create that true single view of the customer to interact in a more functional way with the customer. A lot of places that companies start in order to think about doing individual experiences better and building individualized experiences, journey mapping, and that can form a very small task-centric journey map where you're thinking about what do I need to improve in the sign-up process for claims or forms for an insurance company, for example, or test drive for an automotive company, or the checkout process for an e-commerce company, or it can be an entire end-to-end experience for an organization. But what it really involves is really thinking about how does my customer interact with my brand and my products, and what are the steps they have to go through to buy my products today, and how do I want to reimagine that to make it more friendly and to utilize the kind of tools and technologies that my customer is comfortable and the environments my customer is comfortable in today. And similarly, that means that you need to design with the customer in mind. A lot of companies are still very campaign driven, and what we need to see more of is building profiles and designing an experience for an individual, and also enabling connected conversations across channel. Increasingly voices where we see escalation of interactions with customers as opposed to the primary service channel. And traditionally, I think we're starting to see more automation in this process, you know, in things like chatbots, etc., to be able to deal with things like what are your opening hours and what kind of very simple questions that can be answered, and then routing through more complicated questions to actually human interaction. And so leading companies are really augmenting the omnichannel approach with a my-channel approach. Millennials, as we know, and we've talked about how massive the Indian millennial population will be, are spending more time in social messaging apps and more time in social networks, and they need to be able to communicate with you where they're comfortable being, which then means you need new talent. You need to upgrade your skills internally, and you need to really think about partners, not vendors. It's very difficult to be able to execute a modern customer experience strategy without connecting with other people. There's technology that underlies this, and there's strategy that goes with this that really requires a different kind of skill set, a different kind of mindset, a different kind of company culture, and a different kind of organization structure in order to be able to execute, because you really do have these challenges of different data sets, different customer relationships within a business, traditional business models. I was talking to a customer today who was talking about they're not allowed to have a direct relationship with their customer because of the intermediary that they work with to deliver their product to the marketplace. And so how do they build something that's complementary, that they can all build an insight into who their customers actually are, and therefore how they interact with those customers is something that is really going to change business models and really going to change how businesses build different kinds of customer experiences. And finally, you need to be thinking about building strategies to exceed the pace of change. Change is a constant. Change is not going to be going away, and change is accelerating. So innovation is going to continue to increase, and costs of software, costs of technology are going to come down, but customers' expectations are going to continue to get more and more advanced. And the kind of areas of innovation that we're obviously seeing is what we already talked about with omnichannel customer experiences, in terms of the customer service channels, chatbots, and very much the non-human interactions that lead into human-to-human contact, all the data that's coming out of Internet of Things and what that can allow you to understand about your customer and how you interact with the customer, and also the ongoing data and artificial intelligence and adaptive intelligence offers, which we have just released quite a bit of information around, and which we see that really complement of what you know about your customer and using third-party data to enrich that insight to really be able to deliver a personalized, individualized experience for your customers. So finally, to say that modern experience really, customer experience really is a competitive differentiator. Being able to deliver customer satisfaction across the journey does increase revenue, and it also does impact your ability to be competitive and gain market share. So you really need easy to use, efficient and responsive intelligent systems to power that, and we think we have some exciting options for our customers interested in being able to build that for their business. If you'd like to hear more about those kinds of solutions, then we'd love to see you in Delhi in a couple of weeks at Oracle OpenWorld, and the URL is there on the screen if you'd like to read more about that and hopefully register to come and hear more. I will be there, and the team from Paul Ryder will be there, and we'll be very excited to have some of our senior executive leadership from the US there sharing things on adaptive intelligence, as well as data, as well as obviously smarter customer experience, and we'd be excited to see you there and share those insights. Thank you.
There's this question which has been put on the chat. How would you determine what to personalize and the source of gauging the same? I'll just repeat the question for you, Wendy. There's a question.
Yeah.
How would you determine what to personalize and the source of gauging the same? How do you gauge, what to personalize?
Right. I think it's an evolution. Like, I think that you start with personalizing things like, I think what Shupendu was just talking about in terms of your email interactions. You get the right tools and you move from batch and blast interactions to real kind of using proper scheduling tools and data tools to be able to send the right kind of communications with the right kind of content on an ongoing basis, and that can all be automated with the right kind of tools. Similarly with your website, and enabling the landing page experiences to be much more optimized and customized and personalized. There's many tools you can use to do that. And that doesn't have to be with custom content creation, it's just the type of content. So if you're a commerce site and you know that I'm landing there and I'm a female mother versus my colleague who might be a millennial, not married, looking for totally different kinds of products. So you make sure that the product is aligned to what you think I might be looking for based on what you know about me as a prospect and or a customer. If I'm a customer, you welcome me back. So there's a lot of different tools you can use to do that. I think how you gauge what you should personalize comes down to the channels that you think will drive the most return and what you're thinking about in terms of where you think you'll gain the best ROI, as well as building a better relationship with your customers. So, when you think of the banking industry, retail banking, and they're doing life cycle marketing, for example, and really creating specific content and packages and products for people at different stages of life cycle to try and move them from the owner of one product to 2 products to 3 products, etc. Because we may have a bank account with one bank and then a mortgage with a different bank, and they really want to build a relationship with us to try and encourage us to be loyal to that bank.
Thank you. So we do have one more question here. So what is your view on exceeding customer expectation, especially in the age of social media?
I think exceeding customer expectation comes down to anticipating what a customer is looking for. So today we have those experiences with banks and telcos and many other e-commerce sites where they're constantly sending us marketing messages and not recognizing that we're already a customer, that we already have some of those products, we've already bought those products, and really being able to anticipate what a customer might be looking for as opposed to just trying to sell something to me, and being able to, you know, surprise and delight a customer with offers that we know that are tailored to what they might be looking for. And you can use data and different tools to be able to do that quite effectively.
There's one more question for you, which is probably the last one. So what do you think that a brand should do to become a customer marketer?
I think they should build a perspective. Sorry?
Just one thing that is really critical to become a customer marketer.
Take control of their relationship with their customer. So many brands are outsourcing their relationships, you know, either through their agencies, through third-party distributors, through Facebook and Google even. You know, like, you don't really own the relationship with your customer if your version of investing in digital is all sitting within walled gardens. So very much understanding who your customer actually is and figuring out how to build a direct relationship with your customer and taking control of that. I think there's a lot of opportunity for marketers who have the courage to figure out how to do that.
We do actually have one more question, so we'll take that. So it is, you know, how important is personalizing for a services-based IT organization compared to product-based ones?
I think it's very important for services, even more important than services. If you think of hospitality or a retail experience where there's service orientation, being able to be seamless in how you interact with that brand in a digital environment or a social environment, and then how it feels when you're physically you know, in a restaurant, or, you know, your booking experience with a restaurant, and then your actual customer experience where you're physically there, like that needs to be more seamless. And even when you think of a fast food chain or an airline, you know, you need to be able to deliver through all stages of the customer experience and your touch points with the customer, not just when they're physically flying with you, for example.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy.